Alrighty, for the graphs such as y equals a sine k open bracket x minus d close bracket plus c, or y equals a cos k open bracket x minus d close bracket plus c, their properties may be summarized as following. Amplitude is the absolute value of a, and amplitude is always positive. Remember, okay? Amplitude is always positive because it's the distance, and I'll show you where that it happens, okay? Y max is the absolute value of a plus c. Y min is the negative absolute value of a plus c. K is the number of cycles that occur within 2 pi. Period is 2 pi by k. Equilibrium line is y equals c. Special points occur every period divided by 4. Phase shift equals right d units if d is greater than 0, or left d units if d is less than 0. Okay, so this one has a horizontal translation of 3 pi by 4 to the left or right? To the right. Okay, so this cycle is going to start at 3 pi by 4. So the amplitude is absolute value of a, which is just going to be 3. Y max is absolute value of a plus 0 in this case because our c is 0. So that's just going to equal 3. Y min is the negative absolute value of 3 plus c. So that's going to be plus 0, right? And that's going to be negative 3. The period is 2 pi by k. K in this case is 1, so our period is 2 pi. The equilibrium line is y equals 0. We get it from our c value. Special points occur every 2 pi divided by 4, and that's pi by 2. And our phase shift, or our translation, is 3 pi by 4 units to the right. So this is what we're going to do. We're not going to start at y, at the y-axis. We're going to start at x equals 3 pi by 4. So I'm just going to draw an axis. Maybe I'll move this over here a bit. Okay, now, oh sorry, this is not y. This is x equals 3 pi by 4. This is our phase shift. Okay, it's been shifted to the right by 3 pi by 4. So instead of starting at the y-axis, it's going to start at 3 pi by 4. So it's going to start right there. So we need some guidelines just to help us draw here. And see, there's no vertical translation, so that's good. I'll just try to. So this goes up, our amplitude is 3, so this goes up to 3, and it goes down to minus 3, right? Because there's that vertical stretch. And we have one special point. We need 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to end up here. It's going to go up here, come down, go down, come up. Okay, that's what it looks like. So now we've labeled everything we need to on the y, right? This is just 0. But this is the x-axis. So we have the special points occur every pi by 2. So we're going to have to go 3 pi by 4, that's our starting place, plus pi by 2, we need a common denominator, 3 pi by 4 plus 2 pi by 4 equals 5 pi by 4. I'm just trying to leave room for the next guy. So this is 5 pi by 4 right here. Now we're going to go 5 pi by 4 plus, well, pi by 2 is 2 pi by 4. That equals 7 pi by 4. So this is 7 pi by 4. Then 7 pi by 4 plus 2 pi by 4 equals 9 pi by 4. This is 9 pi by 4. 9 pi by 4 plus 2 pi by 4 equals 11 pi by 4. Okay? Yes. Because every special point, the special points occur every 2 pi by 4. So to get from here, our next special point we add 2 pi by 4. Next special point we add 2 pi by 4. Just keep adding it to get the next point. Why is it what? Well, that's our starting point. There was a phase shift to the right. And now we have to get our special points occur every pi by 2. So 3 pi by 4 plus 2 pi by 4 equals 5 pi by 4. Yeah? This 0 is a label for the y-axis. The y value here is 0. This is 3 pi over 4. There's a shift, right? This is the y value. I'll take that out. This x says it all. I don't want that to be a source of confusion. Okay, are we good with that? Okay. Do you remember what we have to do? Factor out your k, right? Y equals minus sine 2x plus pi by 8 minus 1. So pi by 4 divided by 2 gives me the pi by 8. But you can check. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times pi by 8 is 2 pi by 8 or pi by 4 minus 1. So let's do it. A is equal to negative 1, but our amplitude is the absolute value of negative 1, and that equals 1. Y max is the absolute value of negative 1. Oh, minus 1. Right? Because the y max is plus c, but c is minus 1. Right? So that's equal to 0. So our y max now is 0 because we moved it down 1. Y min is negative absolute value of negative 1 minus 1, and that's going to be negative 1 minus 1 equals negative 2. So our minimum is negative 2. Period is 2 pi divided by k. So this is 2 pi over 2 equals pi. Equilibrium line is y equals minus 1. We get it from our c value. Special points occur every, period divided by 4. And our phase shift is pi by 8 to the left, right? Because that's a positive. The what? The vertical translation we get from our equilibrium line, which is, no. Phase shift is not up and down, it's left and right. So let's draw this guy. So this is not the y-axis, this is the y equals -1, right? Because we're fitting our axes to the curve, so it's a little bit different. So we need some guidelines. Okay, so our amplitude is 1. So do you see this is y equals -1? And so if we add 1, we get 0. Y value 0. And this is -2. Right? Our max is at 0 and our min is at -2. Now we do our special points. Okay, our period is pi. This is x equals -pi/8, right? Because it's pi/8 to the left. So this is -pi/8. Okay, so now we do it. Special points are every pi/4. -pi/8 plus 2pi/8 equals pi/8. So that's going to be pi/8. Pi/8 plus 2pi/8 equals 3pi/8. So this is going to be 3pi/8. 3pi/8 plus 2pi/8 equals 5pi/8. Yeah. Yeah, and that's equivalent to 2pi/8. I need a common denominator. Okay, so this is 5pi/8. And once you see the pattern, I think you can see that that's 7pi/8, right? 5pi/8 plus 2pi/8 equals 7pi/8. Now remember, there's a reflection, so it's going to look like this. It's going to start there, go down, come up, right? Because A is a negative value, so it comes down, goes up, up, up. Good? Yes? Here? That's our C. That's our equilibrium line. The equilibrium line we get from C, it rotates about the equilibrium line now. Yep. Absolutely. Okay, why don't we jump over and do a tan function? Huh? You want to do negative cosine? You want to try negative cosine, but we have to make sure we do a tan function today. Okay. So K is factored for us. That's good. K is already factored. Amplitude is absolute value of A, and that equals 4. Y max is absolute value of -4 plus 3, so that's going to equal 7. Y min is negative absolute value of negative 4, and we're going to add 3, so that's going to be negative 4 plus 3, and that equals minus 1. Period is equal to 2 pi over k, which is a half, and that equals 4 pi. The equilibrium line is y equals 3. Special points occur every period divided by 4. So special points occur every pi. And our phase shift is pi by 6 to the right. Good? So this is no longer the x-axis. This is the y equals 3 line. And this is not the y-axis. This is the x equals pi by 6 line, right? So let's just draw in some grid lines to help us draw. Yep. It's the easiest. Otherwise you're stretching and compressing all these shapes. Okay, we know the amplitude is 4, so we're going to go, this is going to be 3. If this is 3, we add 4, that becomes 7. If this is 3, we subtract 4, that becomes minus 1. So I have to see all of this on the test, right? All of these are very important. Now this is negative cos, so that means there's a negative 4 cosine. It's a negative 4 cosine function. Right? So it's going to, instead of starting there, it's going to start here. So special points occur every 6. See, do you agree that this is 6 pi by 6? Pi equals 6 pi by 6. We need a common denominator. So pi by 6 plus 6 pi by 6 equals 7 pi by 6. So this is 7 pi by 6. 7 pi by 6 plus 6 pi by 6 equals 13 pi by 6. 13 pi by 6 plus 6 pi by 6 equals 19 pi by 6. 19 pi by 6 plus 6 pi by 6 equals 25 pi by 6. So this is 25 pi by 6. And I think that's everything for that guy. Good? It's our phase shift. So once k is factored, you know this is pi by 6 to the right. Right? It's a horizontal translation, pi by 6 to the right. So this must be positive pi by 6. Oh, because normally tan starts here, right? But It's a negative 4, so it's reflected down.
Why do you get so mad when I tell Rich?
No problem. Anything else before I do a tan function? Huh? Yep. Say that again. Yeah? Yeah. There are, you just can't see them. That's how we got all our y values with triangles. So let's do a tan function. Maybe we should do one of the harder ones. I'll just do one more example. Why don't I do example 7? Okay? That looks nice and complicated. Amplitude. What's the amplitude of a tan function? Does not exist. Y max does not exist. Y min does not exist. Period is pi divided by 3. Equilibrium line is y equals 7. Special points occur every, well, pi divided by 3 divided by 4. So that's pi by 3 times 1 over 4 equals pi by 12. Phase shift is pi by 4 right. Right? Pi by 4 right. Ooh, and it's even reflected. My goodness gracious. So now we're going to have not our y-axis, but our x equals pi by 4 axes. So this is our equilibrium line, right, is y equals 7. This axis is, this line is x equals pi by 4, right? So let's draw lines for our asymptotes and our other key points. Good? Okay, let's, I guess we'll mark off Can somebody tell me what this would be? Yeah, because it's still a stretch by a factor of 2. So instead of going up 1, it goes up 2. So this is 9, and it goes down 2. 7 minus 2 is 5. Now we know that it's reflected. So instead of going there, it's going there. And instead of going there, it's going there. It's a reflection over the x-axis. And that point is invariant when we do a reflection. So now we have to do is get our key points along the y equals 7 line. So our special points occur every pi by 12. It starts at pi by 4. Do you agree that pi by 4 is just 3 pi by 12? Right? So 3 pi by 12 plus pi by 12 equals 4 pi by 12 equals pi by 3. So this is pi by 3. So 4 pi by 12 plus pi by 12 equals 5 pi by 12. So this is going to be 5 pi by 12. Here we're going to have to subtract from pi by 4. You know that pi by 4 is 3 pi by 12 minus 2 pi by, no, minus pi by 12 equals 2 pi by 12 equals pi by 6. So this is going to be pi by 6. 2 pi by 12 minus pi by 12 equals pi by 12. So this is going to be pi by 12. Yes. There is no maximum. It goes forever and ever. Do you mean this 9 and 5? Yeah, the 9, well, you're starting at 7, and your amplitude, well, we don't have an amplitude, but it's stretched by a factor of 2. So you go 7 plus 2 is 9, and 7 minus 2 is 5. Right? 7 plus 2 is 9, 7 minus 2 is 5. Yeah, I think we've done enough examples. Unless there's any questions, I'm going to close it off.